So private flood, really what is private flood? And it's just like it sounds. It's through private companies. What's funny is that the National Flood Insurance Program actually uses a lot of these private reinsurers as well, because FEMA uses reinsurance money to actually fund the National Flood Insurance Program and claims in many situations. So it's nothing really new. But when it comes to private flood, it generally has more flexible coverage. You know, with payments with the National Flood Insurance Program, you got to pay it in full. Oh, there are some carriers now that are coming out with quarterly payments on flood, which is great. With the bank, we're accepting it. That's kind of iffy, but it's really, I think, more of people that are wanting to buy optional coverage. Paying $2,000 up front can be kind of a hard in an economy like this. So breaking that up can really help people. But it generally has more flexible coverage. The coverage is probably one of the biggest things that we see on commercial and residential. We're going to talk about some difference in coverages as well. So private flood, as I said, has already established their risk modeling when it came to these outside of the flood zones. It may not be an option for everybody. And, what do we mean by that? Well, right now, as we give this presentation in late September, FHA does not accept private flood insurance. So that, as an agency right now, that's one of the biggest things you want to pay attention to. So if a customer comes to you with FHA, kick private flood out of your mind right away. The other thing is, unlike the National Flood Insurance Program, not all private flood insurance carriers are the same. And I'll kind of give you an example. We had somebody come to us and says, hey, I have my flood insurance with Lloyd's of London. Well, Lloyd's of London doesn't do a contract. What they do is they do multiple contracts with vendors, third party, managing general agencies in many situations. So they think they're being non-renewed by Lloyd's, and they're not necessarily being non-renewed in that situation. What happens is maybe their risk does not meet within that contract anymore, is what it is. Or they're like, hey, I got non-renewed on my private flood, so private flood is not an option for me anymore. And that's not the case at all. Private flood has all these different contracts, Lloyd's, reinsurance companies. There's 5,000 different types of contracts out there. So it's important when someone comes to you and says they're being non-renewed, it doesn't mean that there's no private flood insurance option.